Thanks for joining me. This is Joe Kopsick. It's January 28th, 2023, and tonight at 2 a.m. it's going to be the 4-year anniversary of the supposed attack on Jussie Smollett, and I'm going to show you the scene of the crime. One of the biggest misconceptions about the Jussie Smollett case is the idea that the attack on him, if it happened at a time when it was 20 degrees below in Chicago. The idea that it was 20 degrees below that night is cited as a reason why Smollett must be lying. First, because only a crazy person would go out at that temperature, which doesn't make sense because Jussie Smollett is supposed to be crazy, according to the same people who think he's guilty. And the second reason is that if it was 20 degrees below, then it would be impossible to pour liquid bleach onto somebody, which Jussie Smollett said his attackers did to him during the attack. While the next day after the attack, Wednesday, January 30th, it did reach lows of 20 below. The attack actually happened at 2 a.m. on Tuesday, January 29th, at a time when there was a predicted low of 1 degree and a high of 10 degrees. So it's possible that Jussie Smollett went out at that time to Walgreens and Subway as a last-ditch attempt to get food before the big snows came from the polar vortex, making it impossible to go outside. So there was relatively okay weather at 2 a.m. on January 29th as compared to the next day, which Jussie Smollett probably knew about from weather reports was coming. This is an article from 2021 from thepooldaily.com called Does Bleach Freeze? Everything You Would Need to Know. In this article, it explains that the chlorine content of this product determines the level it will freeze. For instance, liquid bleach often freezes at a temperature of 19 degrees Fahrenheit. However, that might not occur if your product is inside a protective structure. That protective structure could refer to such a thing as an apartment. For example, the apartment of the attackers where they stored the bleach. Keep in mind that the police found bottles of bleach in the Osundara brothers' apartment. That was on a list of evidence they found and collected. Now, it's also possible that other bleach products freeze at 7.3 degrees or 13.1 degrees. So 7 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit is the range of temperature in which most bleach products freeze. That means it's totally possible that the bleach could have been stored inside above that temperature that it was outside that night in order to prevent it from freezing, so it could be poured onto Jussie Smollett in an attack. At 7:20 p.m., I'm in Waukegan in my apartment, and I'm placing this bottle of Clorox bleach inside so that it doesn't freeze. And I'm placing another bottle of Clorox bleach outside, and maybe it will freeze. It's only 27 degrees above zero right now, Fahrenheit. It's not anywhere near as low as the 0 to 10 degrees that were predicted for 2 a.m. the night of January 29th, 2019, when Jussie Smollett reportedly got attacked. But it's possible that it will freeze, so let's see what happens after these bottles of bleach are placed outside for 6 or 7 or 8 hours. Here are the locations I'm going to visit. Number 1, Jussie Smollett's apartment, 340 East North Water Street, the North Water Apartments, at North New Street and East North Water Street. Number 2, Walgreens at 342 East Illinois Street, at the intersections of North Illinois and North New Street between New and North McClurg. Number 3, Subway at 511 North McClurg Street, at North McClurg Street between Grand and Illinois. 4, I'm going to the area where the camera was, which is at North New Street and North Illinois Street. Number 5, Sheraton Grand Chicago Riverwalk Hotel, the location of the camera that captured 2 men running past the security guard at 2:04 a.m. at 301 East North Water Street, near North Park Street and North Water Street. Here's a hand-drawn map I've made of the area that I'm about to go to in Chicago. I live about an hour north in Waukegan, and this orange route is the most likely walking route that Jussie Smollett took when he went from his home to Subway and back that night at 2 a.m. And it all happened between 1:30 and 2:04 a.m. So that's the time that I'm going to be there. Now, it's not nearly as cold as it was that night. It's about 20, 25 degrees warmer. But we're going to focus on the bleach incident and whether bleach freezes when stored outside. And we're going to look at the route that Jussie Smollett took. Now, number 1, he started off at the North Water Apartments. I say that because his reported address was on the 300 block of East Water Street, and that's the biggest residence there. That's probably where he lived. He walked 1.5 blocks to the east and 1 block north, probably, as a way to get to Walgreens, which was his first destination. That was where he intended to buy some health food, most likely a salad, but he found that it wasn't open. That's what he said. Then he went 1 block more to the east to the subway and a half block jog to the north. That subway at 511 North McClurg Street, according to Jussie Smollett, was open at the time, and he got a tuna sandwich. And we know that he got that sandwich because that sandwich was there when the police showed up at his apartment later. After leaving Subway, Smollett went west, back towards that Walgreens that he was just at, and went to the intersection of North New Street and North Illinois Street, where a camera detected 2 men, apparently dressed in all black, walking. And it's likely that they stalked him as he went 1 block south towards the Sheraton Grand Chicago Riverwalk Hotel at 301 East North Water Street, which takes up about 1.5 blocks of walking distance to the south of the East North Water Street. And then Smollett went back to his apartment. That was after the attack. So the attack must have happened somewhere between here, North New Street and North Illinois Street, the intersection, and Sheraton, because the Sheraton is where the security footage captured 2 men running at 2:04 a.m., and there was 10 seconds of missing footage. That's the video that was posted to Jussie Smollett's brother's Instagram. So after the hotel, Smollett went back to his apartment and called the police. Now, it's unclear whether the 2 men caught running outside the Sheraton by the camera, it's unclear whether they got into any kind of altercation with the security guard because of that 10 seconds of missing footage. It's also unclear whether they were the same 2 men who were seen walking in black at North New Street and North Illinois Street. But since this all happened within the span of 34 minutes, you see, it was 1:30 to 1:45 that these men were caught by a camera. It's definitely possible that they were the same 2 men. That intersection is only 2.5 blocks of walking away from Jussie Smollett's apartment, so it's totally possible that his stalkers could have staked him out near his apartment, or have just been in the area if he knew them already, or they may have just been in the area. We don't know exactly who they are. I believe it was the Osundairo brothers, but it might not be the Osundairo brothers. According to Jussie Smollett's brother's Instagram post from April 2022, the security guard who worked at the Sheraton Hotel said that it was 2 men and they were dressed in all black, but they were white. They were European American, according to that security guard. That's what Jussie Smollett's brother said. I have not heard any first-hand account from the security guard saying that that's what he saw. It's possible that they stalked him here. And keep in mind, this is only a total of 9 blocks of walking that Jussie Smollett did, and about 3 blocks that the stalkers did, approximately. And that 9 blocks comes out to 9/16 of a mile, just over half a mile. So that's a distance that very easily could have been walked by Jussie Smollett in 34 minutes. Not only that, but 34 minutes or less. And I'm going to go down there to Chicago and try to replicate as close as possible in that time frame, 1:30 to 2:04 a.m. What happened? I'm here at North Water Apartments at 340 East North Water Street. It's January 29th, 2023, the 4th anniversary of the alleged attack on Jussie Smollett. And I'm here investigating exactly where his apartments probably are. They were reported to have been the 300 block of East North Water Street, which is right across from the Sheraton Hotel. Now, somewhere, this Sheraton Grand Chicago Riverwalk Hotel was the place where 2 men were filmed running. And I believe it was most likely that location because Jussie Smollett was going northeast towards the subway and Walgreens. There's no way to walk over there and get there. But if you go around that way, there's a staircase that heads to what's called the Riverwalk. And then from that point, he can head north. And by the way, my map was wrong. I had the North Water Apartments here. It's actually 1.5 blocks more to the east of that Starbucks in that empty space, that white space right here south of Lowe's. So that's where the North Water Apartments actually are. And that's right across from Sheraton. That's where I am right now, at East North Water Street and North New Street. So I believe that the most likely route that Jussie Smollett took to go northeast was down that staircase. Again, Sheraton Hotel, where the security footage caught two men outside, and there was possibly a scuffle with the security guard. There were 10 seconds of footage deleted from a video camera, security camera, taken somewhere outside of this hotel, which is right across from the Northwater Apartments, most likely place that Jussie Smollett lived based on reports. The reports I'm referring to say that Jussie Smollett lived on the 300 block of East Northwater Street. The Northwater Apartments are the only residential building on the 300 block of East Northwater Street. So we're going to follow this, and I'm not going to stop recording so I can show you that this route can be taken in somewhere between 19 and 34 minutes. I say that, it might actually be longer, so we have plenty of time. Here's that staircase. There's a sign that says Riverwalk somewhere. So men were filmed by a different camera, not the one I was just talking about, sometime between 1:30 and 1:45 a.m. And then the camera footage that I was just talking about from the Sheraton, that was filmed at 2:04 a.m. So that's a difference of 19 to 34 minutes. But obviously, Smollett must have left his apartments way before either of those began filming. So probably left his apartment sometime between 1:15 and 1:45. So really it's like 49 minutes total, possibly, if you think about it, maximum. This is a screenshot from the Instagram page Jussie Smollett Case, which I believe is run by Jussie Smollett's brother Jockey. In April 2022, 4 pieces of security footage were posted to this Instagram page that show what happened between 1:30 and 2:05 a.m. on the morning of January 29th. So we're at North Water Street and North New Street. The first clip posted by Jussie Smollett Case is 9 seconds long. This footage apparently doesn't contain a timestamp, so there's not enough evidence to conclude for sure that this footage is from around the time of the alleged attack, but it could be. Here's what we know for sure. The footage shows a man, possibly Jussie Smollett, apparently being trailed by one man, not two, although there could be another man behind him. The caption on this video reads, 1. The men coming up behind Jussie right before the attack, comma, but the video suddenly turns off. In the previous shot, you may have noticed the large beige concrete supports on the corners of the street that are holding up the Northwater Apartments. That suggests that the previous shot was filmed inside of the underground section of this neighborhood. You will see these columns in the next shot as well. And we're going to head northeast, because that's what Jussie Smollett did, and we're kind of retracing his steps. So this is the route I believe he most likely took that night to head to Subway and Walgreens, northeast, unless for some reason he went west first alongside the Sheraton Hotel, which I don't think he would have a reason to do. That staircase was the easiest access to a walking route heading northeast towards the Walgreens he was headed to, which is his first destination, and the Subway, which is where he went to when he found the Walgreens, wasn't open. So we're heading north on North New Street. And there's going to be a Walgreens ahead and to the right. Actually, it's directly ahead. I can already see it. It takes up, I don't know how much of the block it takes up, but it's right ahead. I'm going at a normal pace. I'm not running. I'm walking somewhat briskly since it's cold outside. There's a security camera on North New Street between East Northwater Street and East Illinois Street. Fun fact, didn't know that. There's a parking garage. So we're coming up to East Illinois Street. It's only been about 2 or 3 minutes since we started recording, so figures about a minute per block, which is about a 1/16 of a mile per block. So we've gone about a quarter mile, 3/8 of a mile or something. And here's that Walgreens. This is where Jussie Smollett attempted to buy health food. I assume it was a salad or something like that, because the salad was the first thing that he tried to buy at Subway, but wasn't able to find it. So we're going to come back to this Walgreens later, because I believe Smollett stopped back near the Walgreens, or somewhere near it, on his way back to his apartment building at night. So right now we're going east on East Illinois Street. There's a Target over here. We're passing a mattress firm. And there's a BMO Harris Bank, BMO, however you pronounce that. Now we're going north, and here is that Subway. Almost got run over. It's literally a half a block from the Walgreens. This is the Subway. So you see how close everything is to each other. It's even closer than I thought before, when I had Smollett's apartment a block and a half west of where it actually is. So this is all happening within about a fifth of a mile of each other. This Subway, see that? Subway, Walgreens. I gotta take a break. We'll walk back in a minute. So here we are at the Subway at 511 North McClurg Street. Jussie Smollett, we can only assume, stayed here for about 5 to 10 minutes while they made his sandwich. I say that because he still had his sandwich when he was at his apartment. So now we're gonna walk back. We're heading south on North McClurg Street, in the Streeterville neighborhood of Chicago. And like I said, BMO Harris is across the street, and Walgreens is pretty much just kitty corner from the Subway. It's like the next closest place to get food for Jussie Smollett, living in Northwater Apartments at the time, aside from the Walgreens, which he says was not open. So here's the sign for that Walgreens right up there. Now we're heading west on East Illinois Street. Now the street that's coming up here on the left is North New Street. It doesn't go through on the right. But this is the intersection where a camera caught two men in black walking sometime between 1:30 and 1:45 a.m. on the morning of Tuesday, January 29th, 2019. Where that camera is, it seems like that's the one, probably right across the street. See that? It's real small, but it's there. That's the camera.
Saw his stature. I gave the description as best as I could. You have to understand also that it's Chicago in winter. People can wear ski masks and nobody's going to question that.
Possibly. So I guess it would have caught them walking from that direction, since they were on the left side of the street, according to where they were walking. So it seems like they started stalking him somewhere near the Walgreens, because a camera right across the street from the Walgreens started recording them 19 to 34 minutes before the attack. Excuse me, that's 19 to 34 minutes before the other video footage, and 14 to 30 minutes before the attack. Pardon me. So now we're heading south. Drop my glove there. Heading south back towards the Sheraton. So like I said, this is the intersection of North New Street and East Illinois Street. The Walgreens is right there. Now I'm taking some extra time, and that's fine because everything's within a quarter mile of each other, so I have plenty of time. Here's a security camera that's on the northeast corner of North New Street and East Illinois Street. So that is probably, since I didn't see any other cameras in the intersection, that's the most likely camera to have captured that first set of footage where there's two men dressed in black walking down the left side of the street.
The police have gone through a lot of video, and they were able to capture an image of two people of interest. Have you seen that image, and do you believe that they could possibly be the attackers?
Don't know what street that was exactly. I think it's maybe this one right here. Our right, their left. Our right side of the street on the camera, right of the screen. But their left at the time. Like, imagine them coming towards you. I believe that's where they're coming from. Not positive.
Have you seen that image, and do you believe that they could possibly be the attackers?
I do.
What is it about their size, or why do you feel that they could possibly be?
Because I was there. For me, when that was released, I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. I don't have any doubt in my mind that that's them. Never did.
But like I said, I believe they started stalking him somewhere near the Walgreens. So let's go south towards Jussie Smollett's apartments, which, if it's the Osundauer brothers or anyone who was stalking him and was taking accurate notes, would know is where he lived. As an acquaintance, they would have known where he lived and could have staked him out. Maybe even known the top two places where he buys food at. Who knows? Again, heading south along North New Street from East Illinois and the Walgreens to East North Water Street. So presumably, these men would have stalked him along this entire block. Now, somewhere in the next block or two, apparently there's an entrance to a Subway. Not a Subway restaurant, but an entrance to the Chicago subway system, the transportation system. And I don't know where that is, but it's possible that an entrance to the subway system was somewhere near the place where another set of footage that I didn't even mention yet of two men stalking Jussie Smollett. It was posted to Smollett's brother's Instagram page, and it shows a man that appears to be Jussie Smollett walking from the left to the right and being trailed by two men. Pretty sure they're dressed in black. So I'm not sure where this subway system entrance is. There's a lot of public parking in the area. And there's two levels to this part of Chicago. There's the underground. Sheraton is that way, parking is that way. So here's that staircase. So I'm still at the foot of this staircase that goes up to the Sheraton Hotel, right near the Northwater Apartments where Smollett lived in 2019. Got some directions by some people behind that corner about the subway, and apparently to get on the subway, you go up those stairs and you go west towards Chicago Avenue. And I'm not going to do that because I think what I might have read when I saw reporting that there was a subway entrance, maybe it was just an entrance to the underground. You might know about the Billy Goat Tavern. That was on the lower level of Chicago, which has two levels in some areas, like I said, because of the L system and lots of reasons. But anyway, going back up these stairs, and we'll see that security camera on the corner of the Sheraton Hotel, the northeast corner, when we get back up there. Now, that entrance to the underground, apparently wherever that is, I never figured out where that is quite, but that is apparently where two men were filmed stalking Smollett, and they were literally in the same frame as each other. That was posted to Smollett's brother's Instagram. So I was able to find what I believe to be two of the cameras. That's one of them right there behind the light, and the other was the one I showed you outside of Walgreens a few minutes ago. There's Northwater Apartments, Smollett's residence, and the Sheraton. And there's probably all kinds of cameras inside. So, you know what? I was totally wrong. The camera from the Sheraton was taken from inside of the lobby. So that's not the camera. There's a camera somewhere inside the lobby of this Sheraton. And that's where people were filmed in a scuffle, possibly with a security guard. We don't know because 10 seconds of footage were deleted. Security guard went towards the door, something happened that didn't end up on film because the timestamp says 10 seconds of footage were deleted. I'm talking about the other set of video footage posted to Smollett's brother's Instagram account. The second clip posted by Jussie Smollett case is 30 seconds long. This piece of footage does have a timestamp. It shows what happened near the doors to the Sheraton Hotel between 2:04 a.m. and 30 seconds to 2:04 and 56 seconds. The footage skips forward 10 seconds from 2:04:40 to 2:04:50. The caption on this video reads, 2. The men running by a guard outside the Sheraton Hotel. The video has 10 seconds missing without a good explanation. The guard told CPD, that's Chicago Police Department, the first man who ran by him was white, 6 feet tall, wearing a black face mask. The third clip posted by Jussie Smollett case is 11 seconds long. This footage has a timestamp, and the timestamp looks a lot like the timestamp from the Sheraton Hotel footage, so it's probably from the Sheraton Hotel. This footage was taken at 2:01 a.m., 3 minutes before the camera inside the hotel filmed 2 men from the outside and the security guard from the inside coming near the door. The caption on this clip is the same as the caption on the previous clip. So here's where it happened. Here's where there was possibly a scuffle with the security guard and maybe the Osendara brothers. We don't know. Maybe whoever attacked Smollett that wasn't the Osendara brothers. Maybe just another set of 2 criminals in the area that night. But it's suspiciously close to the front door of Jussie Smollett's apartment, which is right next to the staircase that leads down to go northeast towards Walgreens and Subway, where there's food to eat. By the way, there's also a burger joint around the corner down to the right along the Riverwalk, where you can see the Trump Tower from. There's a big word Trump if you go down to the right. Smollett probably wasn't eating burgers at the time because he was trying to train, trying to get buff. That's why he was eating salads, trying to get tuna sandwiches at the Subway. Reviewing the footage, we see that it took me just under 4.5 minutes to get from Northwater Apartments to Subway. Then, I estimate that it took Jussie Smollett about 5 to 10 minutes to order his sandwich, wait for it, and get it, and then leave. Then it took me 5.5 minutes to get from Subway to the Northwater Apartments. And then we have to add to this amount of time the duration of the attack, which I assume was somewhere between 1 and 3 minutes. That adds up to 15 to 20 minutes plus the duration of the attack. That would put the total at somewhere between 16 and 23 minutes, which could very easily fit within the 19 to 34 minute time frame that we were estimating. So, there we did it. That is way less than 19 to 34 minutes. Smollett could have easily walked that, I don't even know, 5-6 blocks instead of the original 9 that I estimated when I had a bad location of this building. If you don't include the staircase, it's only 3 blocks. That's 1.5 blocks from Northwater Apartments to Subway and 1.5 back. Now let's talk about what happened after Smollett got home. The fourth clip posted by Jussie Smollett case is 59 seconds long and contains 2 different shots and some slow motion footage. The first shot shows 2 men walking past a curb taxicab number 1186. The second shot shows 2 men walking past a vehicle and then getting into the vehicle in front of it, which has its lights on. The timestamp on the first shot in this footage is different from the timestamp in the clips from 2:01 and 2:04 a.m. Both shots shown in this clip are from 2:10 a.m. The first shot is from 2:10:12 to 2:10:26, and the second is from 2:10:06 to 2:10:32. The first shot shows the man in the front, on the left side of the screen, walking past the curb taxicab before the man who's walking behind him passes the same cab. This first man's face is half visible. He seems too light-skinned to be African American, but perhaps too dark-skinned to be white. The person running the Jussie Smollett case Instagram page believes the man to be white. Unfortunately, the face of the second man is nowhere near visible enough to be able to discern his race. In the first shot, a light gray minivan passes the curb taxicab at 2:10 and 23 seconds, and the 2 men walk past the cab at 2:10 and 14 to 20 seconds. In the second shot, what looks like the same light gray minivan passes the cab at 2:10 and 28 seconds. That's 5 seconds later than in the first shot, but that 5-second difference could be attributed to the clocks in the 2 cameras being set to slightly different times. In both shots, the 2 men finish passing the curb taxicab before the gray minivan goes past the 2 men and the 2 vehicles. The caption on this piece of footage reads, 3. A video of the suspects getting into a taxi outside the Hyatt Hotel. These men are obviously not the Osundire brothers. The second man is the one both Jussie and the guard said is white, 6 feet tall, and masked. The nearest Hyatt Hotel is just a 4 or 5 block walk southwest of the Northwater Apartments. If the 2 men shown getting into a cab in front of the Hyatt are the same people who attacked Jussie Smollett, then it seems likely that their escape route would have been to travel west past the Sheraton Hotel and then take a bridge to the left, which would lead them southwest across the river to the Hyatt Hotel, just 4 or 5 blocks away. What this suggests to me is that if these men did take that escape route, then they probably followed Smollett up the stairs leading to his apartment before traveling west and then southwest towards the Hyatt. It all could have happened. And now we're going to check on our bleach. So here's the bleach that I've been keeping inside my car. This is the one that I put inside my apartment earlier. And here's the one that was outside. This has been sitting in the trunk, so it's a little colder. And I'm going to predict that this one is liquid too. The one that was in the cab of the car was liquid. You know what? That's fine. But at least we know that it does take some really cold temperatures to get bleach to freeze. And it's probably about 20 degrees out, maybe even a little warmer, like 25, 30. But it wasn't 20 degrees below that night. It was somewhere between 0 and 10. So that's somewhere in the temperature for bleach to freeze, but not when it's stored inside. It would only freeze if it was stored outside. And who would do that? So, if nobody attacked Jussie Smollett around 2 a.m. that night, as he claimed, then why were 2 men filmed from 2 different angles running at 2:01 and 2:04 a.m., which is just 1 to 4 minutes after the time Smollett estimated he was attacked, just 1 or 2 blocks away?